Before you start, before you open the document, before you make the call, there's already a wait. Nothing has happened yet. No mistake. No failure. And still your chest tightens. Your energy drops. Your attention drifts away. This heaviness doesn't come from the task itself. It comes from what your brain predicts the task will cost you. Most people believe effort is physical. But psychology tells us effort is emotional. The brain doesn't measure tasks in minutes or difficulty. It measures them in anticipated emotional load. How exposed will I feel? How unsafe might this become? How much of myself is on the line? That's the real calculation. And it happens instantly. There's a term in cognitive science called anticipatory emotion. It means you feel emotions before events occur. Your brain simulates the future and reacts as if it's already happening. So when you think about starting a project, sending a message, making a decision, your body responds to the simulation, not reality. If the simulation predicts pain, your system tries to shut it down. This is important. Emotion is faster than thought. The amygdala can respond in milliseconds. The rational brain takes longer. So by the time you decide not to act, your nervous system has already voted. The heaviness you feel is not hesitation. It's a warning signal. Two people can face the same task. One feels neutral. The other feels paralyzed. Why? Because the task carries different emotional meanings. For one person, it's just work. For the other, it's a test of worth, a risk of shame, a threat to identity. The brain reacts to meaning, not mechanics. Tasks become heavy when they touch identity. Identity is the story you hold about who you are, what you're capable of, what it means if you fail. When a task threatens that story, the emotional cost skyrockets. Your brain asks, what does this say about me? That question alone can stop action. Notice this pattern. The tasks you avoid most are often the ones you care about most. Because caring raises the stakes. If you don't care, failure doesn't hurt. If you care deeply, failure feels personal. So avoidance becomes a way to preserve hope. As long as you haven't tried, the future remains open. Visual, unopened envelope glowing faintly. Your brain constantly predicts outcomes. When predictions are wrong, the brain updates its model. But emotional predictions are sticky. If you once experienced intense shame, your brain may overpredict that pain forever. This is called prediction error bias. The system would rather overestimate pain than risk being unprepared. This is why preparation feels safe. Planning, researching, optimizing. These activities feel productive, but don't expose you emotionally. They delay the moment of vulnerability. So the brain rewards them. But preparation without exposure strengthens avoidance. Imagine your brain keeps an internal ledger. Every task has a potential reward, a potential emotional cost. When the cost column feels heavier, the task becomes hard. Not logically, emotionally. Among all emotions, shame is the most immobilizing. Shame is I did something wrong. Shame is there is something wrong with me. Tasks tied to shame feel unbearable. Because shame threatens belonging. And for the brain, loss of belonging equals danger. Many people can start but not finish. Because finishing creates evaluation. Completion invites judgment. And judgment activates shame circuits. So the brain stalls near the end. Not because you're careless, but because finishing feels exposed. Emotional memories are stored in the body. Not as stories, as sensations. Tightness, numbness, pressure. So when you approach a task, your body reacts based on past emotional learning, even if you can't remember why. Visual, subtle waves moving through a silhouette. You can tell yourself, it's not that serious. No one will care. I've done harder things. But logic doesn't speak the nervous system's language. Safety is learned through experience, not argument. When emotional cost feels unavoidable, the nervous system may freeze. Freeze is not an action. It's immobilized readiness. Your system is alert, but unable to move. This often looks like procrastination, but it's actually overload. Distraction reduces emotional load instantly. Phones, videos, noise, they pull attention away from internal signals. So the brain reaches for them automatically. Not because you lack discipline, because they regulate emotion. Every avoided task carries an unspoken question. What will this mean about me if I try? Until that question feels safe, movement remains difficult. Visual question mark forming from light. The heaviness you feel is not evidence of weakness. It's evidence of importance plus vulnerability. Your system is saying, this matters. That's not a flaw. It's sensitivity. The cost of ignoring emotional cost. When emotional cost is ignored, people push harder. This leads to burnout, numbness, collapse, because the system never felt safe. Here's the hopeful part. Emotional cost is not fixed. It decreases with safety, familiarity, compassionate exposure. The shift begins when you stop asking, how do I make myself do this? And start asking, what emotion does this bring up? That question alone changes how the brain responds. So now you know. Tasks feel heavy not because they're hard, but because your brain predicts emotional danger. Avoidance is an attempt to protect you from a cost it believes you can't afford.